Hello and welcome to the Fast Five presented by IU Sports Media. I'm Peyton Meyer.
And I'm Lauren Schwartz as we give you the fastest 5 minutes in IU athletics.
Indiana wrestling had a busy weekend taking on number 7 Michigan and Northwestern. On Friday night, Michigan got the best of number 17 ranked Hoosiers 30-6. Michigan won the first 4 matches to build a 17-0 lead. Number 18 Brayton Lee improved to 5-0 on the season. In the team's final Big Ten duel of the season, Indiana fell at Northwestern 19-18. The Wildcats opened up the match to a 7-0 lead. Graduate student number 23 ranked Dan Fongaro got the Hoosiers on the board, and number 13 Graham Brooks won by decision to give Indiana an 8-7 lead. Indiana will be back in action Friday for senior night versus Chattanooga.
This past weekend, the IU softball team headed to Troy, Alabama for the Troy Invitational, competing in 5 intense games. They proved their strength on the field, winning 4 of their matchups. However, Team 51 couldn't get it done in a 7-4 loss against Gardner-Webb. Despite the loss, junior Brianna Copeland stood out with exceptional performances. On the mound, she pitched 11 1/3 innings, allowing only 7 hits and recording 14 strikeouts, which was enough for her to win Big Ten Pitcher of the Week.
Both the men's and women's basketball teams were in action this weekend. We pass it to our Ben Holler for more.
Thanks, Peyton and Lauren. It was a less than ideal weekend for Indiana on the hardwood, with both the men's and women's basketball team falling to unranked opponents. First up, the men's team hosted Northwestern into Assembly Hall for a must-win a potential resume-boosting game against the Wildcats. Despite 22 points from Khalil Ware and Northwestern star guard Boo Buie sitting the majority of the first half with 2 fouls, Northwestern came out on top 76-72, almost eliminating Indiana from at-large contention. Next, the women's team took a trip to Champaign for a President's Day matinee to take on the Illini. On 5 of 11 shooting and 44% from 3 en route to an 86-66 upset win over the Hoosiers, putting Indiana's hopes at hosting the first 2 rounds in jeopardy. The men's team is back in action on Wednesday when they host Nebraska, while the women's team gets ready to face Iowa. Back to you guys at the desk.
Indiana water polo went undefeated over the weekend in the Indiana Classic. On Saturday, they defeated California Baptist 16-7 and Iona 19-5. Sophomore Sophia Solly notched a hat trick 12 seconds into the 4th quarter in the first match. In the second match versus Iona, the Gales got on the board first, but the Hoosiers responded with 4 straight goals to end the first quarter. Indiana defeated St. Francis on Sunday. Sophomore Louisa Downs won the opening sprint and gave the Hoosiers a 1-0 lead, and took that momentum into their win over Salem in a match that saw 10 different Hoosiers score. The 12-0 start of the season is the best in Indiana history.
Indiana baseball started their season over the weekend in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Our Sam Brunsman has more.
The 130th season of Indiana baseball kicked off this past weekend at Baseball at the Beach round-robin event in South Carolina. The Hoosiers faced 3 strong opponents, including Duke, Coastal Carolina, and the reigning A-10 champs, George Mason. One of the marquee matchups from the weekend was Indiana and Duke. In a game with plenty of defensive highlights and big home runs, Duke was able to take the lead in the 5th inning and would never look back. Indiana struck out 13 times, which propelled Duke to a 6-3 win. But Indiana bounced back on Saturday with a 7-3 win over host Coastal Carolina. The big story of the game was catcher A.J. Shepard. After missing the last 2 seasons through injury, the redshirt freshman hit a 2-run bomb in the 9th inning to add some insurance for the Hoosiers. To wrap up the weekend, Indiana defeated George Mason 9-3. A pair of 3-run innings and a shutdown save from Julian Tongini helped the Hoosiers move to 2-1 on the season. Indiana outscored their opponents 19-11, and with that second win under their belt, the Hoosiers are now ranked 23rd in D1 baseball rankings. Here's what Indiana head coach Jeff Mercer had to say about the weekend.
In totality, to come out of here 2-1 and play 3 really good games, I don't think you can ask for anything more. We played clean defense for the most part, made 1 or 2 routine errors that you would like to see cleaned up, but we also made some great plays too. And so
the Indiana women's tennis team had a mixed performance this weekend, going 1-2 in their 3-game stretch. They started on Thursday with a tough loss to Drake, falling 2-4. Moving into the Adidas Classic in Bloomington, the Hoosiers faced challenging opponents, suffering another 2-4 defeat against Colorado. However, they finished the weekend on a high note by sweeping Ball State 4-0. With these results, the Hoosiers' overall record falls to 5-7. They now prepare for the weekend when they host Cornell for their next match.
All right, and that will wrap it up for today. Thanks for tuning in.
Be sure to follow along with the socials at IU Fast 5 for all news about Indiana athletics. Until next time, I'm Lauren Schwartz.
And I'm Peyton Meyer. We'll see you next week.